People kept commenting, "We can't afford to pay nurses more, it'll make healthcare more expensive." I did the math. Hi, I'm Derek, I'm a physician, and I'm very interested in this. So there are about 3.2 million registered nurses in the US. The average RN makes about $82,000 a year. If we gave even just a $20,000 raise, that raise would cost $64 billion, or up to about $80 billion once you include benefits and payroll taxes. Even though hospitals would save a lot of money from lower staff turnover and travel nurse expenses, up to $40 billion per year, we won't include that. But let's not even stop there. Let's include all essential frontline healthcare workers. That's 4.3 million CNAs, $10,000 raise. 2.6 million technicians, as in lab, radiology, EKG techs, and medical assistants, $12,000 raise. 135,000 respiratory therapists, $15,000 raise. 275,000 EMTs and paramedics, $10,000 and $20,000 raises. Add that to nurses, and you're talking about 10.5 million frontline workers. Total cost of all those raises together, about $180 billion per year, even though we'd actually spend less because of reduced staff turnover. How would you pay for that? The US spends a ridiculous $15,000 per person per year on healthcare. Switzerland, which has a fantastic healthcare system that is not at all socialism, by the way, it has the second most expensive system on earth. It spends about $10,000 per person. That gap is $5,000 per person. If all we did was switch the American system to the Swiss system, which we could actually easily do because they do universal private insurance with subsidies and it's regulated, multiply that by 334 million Americans, and the US overspends by roughly $1.3 to $1.6 trillion per year. To put that number in context, counting to 1.5 trillion would take 47,500 years. It is unbelievable how much money is being stolen, siphoned, and skimmed away. It's probably the biggest con in the history of the world. If we saved $1.5 trillion from switching to the Swiss healthcare system, fully funding raises for nurses, CNAs, techs, respiratory therapists, EMTs, paramedics, all of it, we'd still save $1.2 to $1.5 trillion annually. The raises would only cost 12% of the amount of money that we would save. But it gets better. How much money would American households save? There are about 133 million US households. Divide the remaining savings across households, and you get roughly $9,000 to $11,000 per household per year. That's after paying these healthcare workers more. $10,000. It's almost a month's worth of groceries. So no, healthcare workers are not the reason that healthcare is expensive. We could pay them fairly and save the average American household nearly $10,000 a year. But pushing through healthcare reform would require Americans to make it priority number one. If we did that, your loved ones and you, when you're hospitalized, you could be cared for by people that are more fairly paid for the incredible work that they do.